Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist BBQ. I'm Erica Yoder, and today I'm going to teach you how to make the last macaroni and cheese recipe that you're ever going to need. The first thing we need to deal with is the pasta itself. You can use traditional elbow macaroni if you want to, but I think you get more sauce in each bite and you get a better product if you use cavatappi. It's kind of a squigglier, longer pasta. And this one that we're using today actually has some grooves in the side, so you get maximum sauce on there. You can use whatever kind of pasta you want. I found this to be the best. And then one more disclosure before we actually get to cooking is I know for a fact that I stole this recipe from some famous chef at some point, but I cannot figure out who it is. I don't know if it was Bobby Flay. I don't know who it was. So I basically took that recipe, tweaked it according to what I like best, and that's where you guys are gonna get today. And I have not found a macaroni and cheese recipe that I like even close to this much. To do the cooking today, we're going to be using this enameled cast iron Dutch oven. It's from Made In, and they make only phenomenal stuff. There's a reason why professional kitchens use Made In cookware, and even 3 Michelin-starred restaurants use it as well. It's that good, and it's direct to consumer, so you don't have to pay any kind of markup. You get the best deal on the very best of cookware. Now, the reason I love these enameled cast iron Dutch ovens is because they have such great heating characteristics. On a cool day like this, it really helps out to have something with that much heat retention, and the enameled coating helps to keep things from sticking. And if you're cooking with cheese, that really helps out a lot. Another great thing about the Dutch oven is that you can take this one and you can take it from the stovetop to put it into an oven, even safe up to 580 degrees. It is absolutely incredible what you can do with this. It's the original slow cooker, and I absolutely love using mine. Before, I always thought it'd be great to have one, but when you look at the price, oh my goodness, they're so expensive. But now Made In is making them, and they're made in the northeast of France, and that price tag doesn't have to scare you away. As a matter of fact, for my viewers, you get 10% off if you click on the link in the description. That's a phenomenal deal, and I want to thank Made In so much for sponsoring today's video. All right, so let's get this water boiling, and let's get to cooking. While this water's getting hot, I'm gonna add some kosher salt, a generous pinch in there. It really helps get flavor into the pasta because you don't want the actual pasta to be flavorless, and what's really gonna enhance flavor is salt. So I'm gonna dump some of this in. A lot of you may have seen people adding oil to the pasta water so that the pasta doesn't stick together. That's true, but it also inhibits sauce from sticking to the pasta because if we want to get technical here, we have a lot of hydrophilic interactions here. So polar, they're going to attract to each other, they're going to stick to each other, and that's ultimately going to mean more flavor in every bite. So we're not adding oil. Also, when we mix it into the sauce that we create, we can move it around and it's going to break up if it sticks together. I'm not worried about that at all. What I am worried about is having naked noodles at the end of this. I don't want to have any naked pasta. I want it all to be covered in sauce. Just remember to give it a stir every couple of minutes and keep an eye on it so it doesn't boil over. And the bag says to cook for about 9 to 11 minutes, but if you cook it until it's probably just the way you want it, it's going to overcook by the time we put it in the hot sauce. So, not hot sauce, the warm sauce, the sauce that we create that's going to be hot. We'll say that. So what I want to do is undercook it slightly so it has the perfect texture when I'm done. So probably 8.5 minutes, even though the bag says 9 to 11. I found the best results doing it that way. If you want it more tender, you can go longer. If you want it a little bit more firm, you can go shorter. Here's a little hack that I found. If you have any leftover Parmesan cheese rinds from real Parmesan cheese, then you can actually put it in the boiling water and it starts to infuse the pasta with flavor right away. Time to drain the pasta. Next, we're going to start on the sauce. Now we're going to start with heavy cream. And I've tried a bunch of different ways of doing macaroni and cheese. I tried making a roux, turning it into a bechamel. I've tried using like Velveeta or American cheese and things to emulsify everything together. I've tried all kinds of different stuff. I've tried using half and half as a base and then melting stuff in, adding butter. None of those are as good as this. Okay, I've tried as many as I can think of, and this one is by far the best. You have a richness and a creaminess with this because we're starting with heavy cream. It reminds me of the movie Jackie Brown, where Samuel L. Jackson is talking about when you absolutely, positively, I'll clean this part up, have to wow everybody, except no substitute. This one is the absolute best that I have ever found. Now, there could be a better one out there, but not that I found. Heavy cream goes in, 1 quart for every pound of pasta that you're making. I'm actually making 2 pounds of pasta today, so I'm gonna use 2 quarts. Next, we want a low fire and a wooden spoon, and we're gonna start stirring. Now, this takes a long time. You might actually wanna do this before cooking the noodles. That's what I usually do, but because I wanted to use this pot also to make the sauce, I decided to do the noodles first. So, what you wanna do is make sure you reduce the cream by half. If you don't reduce it enough, then the cheese is just gonna sit on the bottom and it's never gonna mix together into a sauce. So make sure you reduce it by half. The easiest way I found, because I've tried all kinds of different stuff, I've tried measuring exactly how much cream is in there, then measuring it after and when it's about right, but that's a huge mess and it's not worth it. Easiest way is to take your wooden spoon, put it into the cream, lift it up, and that line is not gonna get any higher as long as it's not in there jerking it around. That's going to be the measuring stick, literally, for when we have half the volume that we had when we started. It's also going to look a little different. It's going to be slightly yellow, but you guys are going to see that as we get there. As this is reducing down, I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. The cheese is salty that we're going to be using, and we've already salted the pasta, so we don't need to add too much salt. And then a little bit of pepper for more flavor. Not going crazy. Just a pinch and a half in there maybe, and then keep stirring. And then I'm going to chop up a little bit of rosemary because that herbal note is really going to balance well with all the richness from the cheese and the double cream. It's going to be a perfect balance to it. Okay, the cheeses we're going to use are, we have some smoked Gruyere, and you can make the recipe completely with Gruyere if you want. It's kind of mild, it's nutty, it's super, super good. Then I have some smoked sharp cheddar, which I also really like. I go about 2/3 Gruyere and 1/3 of the sharp cheddar. And then we have one that I really, really like, but I don't see it show up in mac and cheese very often, at least not the real kind. But we have some real Parmigiano Reggiano. So this is going to be, I'll add maybe an ounce of that. So for every pound of pasta, 8 ounces of cheese is a good rule of thumb. You can add a little more if you need to, but I'm going to start shredding these. All right, so about this much Gruyere. This is probably something like 10, 12 ounces. Sharp cheddar, maybe 4 ounces. And then Parmesan. And about this much Parmesan, probably 2 ounces. There's a lot of cheese going in here, which is going to make it extra stringy and delicious. Once it all gets smooth, you can add your pasta. And at that point, we're going to take some of that pasta water that we had, and we're going to use that to make the sauce really come together. It's going to be just the way we want it. Now for the ending. A lot of people like to put cheese on top and then put it in an oven or a smoker and kind of melt the cheese. I like to do something a little different. I like to take a little bit more of the Parmesan just because it's so packed with flavor, and use a microplaner and kind of dust the entire top. Cover that with a little bit of chives, and to me, that is perfect mac and cheese. You get richness, smoke, everything you want. It smells so good. All right, now I had to get a bite, and it's a pretty big bite. All the sauce is sticking to the noodles, which is what I want. Then have a little bit of coating of Parmesan because I love Parmesan. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, with that, it has everything I want in mac and cheese. No need to put this in the smoker. The cheese has plenty of smoke. I've tried putting the whole mac and cheese in the smoker. You don't really get as much smoke, but here it comes through really clearly. Rich, nutty, balanced out with some rosemary, some herbal notes. The chives aren't really there for flavor, but it makes it look nice. And then the Parmesan, oh, it's so good. And because we used a pound of cheese to make this sauce, it's really nice and cheesy and has everything I want. So I'd encourage you all to go try this. I'll put a recipe in the description. It's probably easier to do inside when it's not, 28 degrees, but it's still possible to do it out here and it still tastes awesome. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button down below and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Mad Scientist BBQ, also on Patreon if you want to win smokers, leather aprons, and stuff like that in the monthly contest. So go over there and check it out. I'll see you guys next time.